What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be checking out the brand new EVGA Z20 optical gaming keyboard that is coming from Corsair and Razer's throats. And as EVGA's first gaming keyboard release, it's very impressive. A lot of great stuff going on here. So today we'll go through it all, pros and cons, because yes, even though it's packed with some cool stuff, there's still some downsides. Talk about my experience, do a sound test, all that stuff, in case you're interested in picking up the new EVGA Z20. Now, first up, retails will set you back $175, which is still more affordable than its Razer and Corsair counterparts, but this can be bought for only $88 if you're an EVGA Elite Member, which I mean is a crazy good price for this. Checking it out with its full-size layout, it does have that gamer look to it with full RGB, a brushed aluminum top plate, and those angular edges to it. But visually, yeah, it's on par with what you see from the Corsair K95 and their K100. Now there's a lot of cool features going on here with the Z20, so I'm gonna hit you with them right out of the gate for a quick little overview. We have dedicated multimedia keys and a built-in volume dial on the top right, 5 dedicated macro keys on the left side of the keyboard, along with a separate gaming mode key up top, a time of flight sensor, which is pretty much like a proximity sensor for some extra added security, dual RGB light bars on both sides of the keyboard for some underglow, new linear optical switches known as the Light Strike LK from Bloody. These are smooth to type and game on, also lightning fast, a detachable magnetic wrist rest, a USB pass-through on the back side, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack on the left side of the keyboard, something I haven't seen in a few years. We also have things like 2 different flip-out feet on the back side to elevate it to different heights, per key RGB lighting, and a 4,000 hertz polling rate, which versus a traditional mechanical keyboard, which is only around 1,000, this 4 times faster, more responsive. You couple that with the optical switches, and it's just gonna feel lightning fast when you're typing or gaming. Now, unfortunately, the cable here is non-removable and definitely pretty thick. But again, plus you factor in things like the USB pass-through, headphone jack. The breakout cable here is going to result in 3 different cables. So if you're going to want to use all these 3, then you're going to have to power all these, accordingly. Taking a closer look, the 5 macro keys are obviously all programmable in addition to the entire keyboard. That's all done with their software, which we'll take a peek at in a little bit. But macros, as I say, always clutch. And those dedicated media keys. While it's become more common to have these nowadays, it's nice that we do have them here. And unlike its competitors, the media keys themselves are tactile and square. So in terms of aesthetics, it visually matches the look of all the keycaps. So it's all uniform. However, keycaps here are unfortunately that standard sort of high shine ABS plastic with that aggressive gamer font, which I never understood why companies opt to do that. We get it, it's a gaming keyboard, but the font doesn't have to listen to AFI and wear 14 bracelets on each arm. And with ABS, that means upkeep here is gonna require more attention and wiping down over time, since the finish is gonna show, more fingerprints and oils from your hands. The WAS keys and the 5 macro keys do get that additional sort of shine through strip and some rib texturing on the bottom half, which I don't mind. Otherwise, the materials to the keycaps themselves are smooth to the touch. Also worth noting, the shine-through characters are only on the top side of the key. So for example, the arrow keys have the brightness and the RGB effect print. They're not going to be fully illuminated on the bottom. And that also applies to the 9 profile switching character prints on keys 1 through 9. Again, it's minor, and the RGB is pretty bright overall. It's just not going to shine completely even. Before we move on, let's chat about that time of flight sensor. And personally, I haven't seen a proximity sensor integrated into a keyboard like this before, so I can definitely appreciate the innovation from EVGA. Pretty much, this just allows you to do things like put the PC to sleep or unlock the PC as you approach and sit in front of it, or if you're walking away from your desktop, you can lock the PC or put the PC to sleep, that kind of thing. So a cool idea, again, I can appreciate the innovation for sure, and I'm happy to see EVGA take a chance on a new feature like this. So big thumbs up for that. I do wish it had more features integrated into it though, with the time of flight sensor. Like for example, maybe recognizing hand gestures or something. But I'll show you more how to, set it all up and stuff in the software in just a little bit. And then we'll dive into what most people care about the most when it comes to a keyboard is the switches. EVGA is using the Light Strike opticals, and in my unit, I went with the gray linears. This is also available in the clicky option as well for those who want to annoy your friends over Discord, but they're a light switch at just 45 grams to actuate at just 1.5 millimeters and have a total travel distance of 3 millimeters to bottom out. They do feel smooth, and with its box construction around the stem itself, I'd say overall during use, I didn't notice, much wobble. In fact, compared to the Razer Optomechanicals, these were super stoic, and they did have slight less wobble than the stem on my Corsair K100. Alright, so now we'll do a full sound test of these Light Strike optical linear switches. All right, so two things I want to point out real quick. First, typically with like a keyboard constructed like this with a mix of like plastics and brushed aluminum stuff, you would usually hear some sort of high-pitched resonance or pinging, but you really don't have that here. The sound overall is pretty good. Second, those stabilizers. They need some work for sure. They're not the loosest, they're not the most rattly stabilizers I've heard, but underneath, it's just not doing a good enough job at keeping the stabilizer keys in place. These could definitely use some TLC on the back end here. All right, so before we wrap it up with my pros and cons and overall thoughts about the Z20, we'll head back to the PC. I'll do a demo for you guys of the software so you can check it all out, as well as some of the RGB lighting effects and stuff. Okay, so this is their EVGA Unleash RGB software, and as you can see, it looks kind of dated, but it's also pretty straightforward at the same time with your keyboard right here, and only a few tabs, so it's all just laid out right in front of you. And the first one is the time of flight tab, where you can control your little proximity sensor. And this is where you can adjust things like what happens when you're approaching the keyboard and what you're leaving, and also change the distance that it's reading from 120 centimeters to just 10 centimeters. So if you're approaching the keyboard, you can change it to do things like wake up the PC or unlock the keyboard, because you can also have the keyboard lock. You can have it go dark, turn off all the lighting, or you can have it just go to sleep, and also do things like change the time in which it does that after you walk away or approach the keyboard. General settings is pretty much for like configuring what the game mode button does in terms of talking about like, what you can actually do for the Windows key, set that to be something else, change some character repeat speeds. You can just leave most of this stock. And then your RGB tab for all the RGB lighting, and there's not too much effects. What's interesting is they break it up into pretty much just regular effects, but also time of flight effects. So there's a few effects that will actually sort of work with that and change speeds depending on how close you are to the keyboard. So for the main stuff, you can obviously go through, cycle between them, change things like the direction for some of the lighting effects, the brightness, the speed, that kind of stuff. And it's nothing we haven't seen before, really. It's your pretty standard RGB lighting effects that we've seen on pretty much every other keyboard. But I did think the slight integration with the time of flight sensor was cool. So again, you can see things like as I get closer, you sort of like explodes out a bit faster. Also with the light bar on the left and right side, as I'm getting closer to the keyboard, that goes faster as well. And it all shows real-time the effect on the keyboard itself in the little graphic here, which is pretty cool. Key assignment is pretty much just changing whatever you want a key to be. So you can go through and reprogram every single key on here, minus the obviously the game mode key and the Windows keys as they call it here. But yeah, any key can be any sort of primary or secondary function you want. And then macro editor is for creating your macros for a certain key. You can go through and do that for any key as well. And you also have 9 different profiles set by key 1 through key 9, and each of those you can have different RGB effects for, different macros for, all in 9 different profiles. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, EVGA just really coming for, I think, Razer and Corsair's throats, because they're taking a lot of those popular features and adding it to this big time kind of first release for EVGA in the mainstream kind of gaming keyboard market. And what we have here is really, really impressive. I know for me, my time using it, I am more used to the optical switches by now after testing, a lot of different keyboards over the years, especially when it comes to linear switches. So getting used to the actual, bottoming out and actuating at 1.5 millimeters on the overall lighter switch really wasn't too bad. It felt fine. Gaming, all responsive. It's tough to say that I 100% could differentiate that 4,000 hertz pulling versus just a faster optical linear switch, Can't tell which of the two I was noticing being more responsive. Doesn't matter. They're working together, and it's still just a very quick keyboard. That's what you want when you're gaming, that quick response. There's really no issues I can think of with the keyboard itself, but I will say it's nice we have the included detachable wrist rest, but it is not the thickest or most comfy wrist rest, that is. The material's fine, it feels soft, but there's just no padding or cushioning in the middle itself. When I put my wrists on these, I could feel the plastic underneath the wrist rest. And if you just squeeze it, your finger goes right through. So there should be a little bit more padding, I feel, to make the wrist rest more comfortable. So quick wrap up to end the video with one final thought that might sell this for a lot of people. Again, for the pros, macros, dedicated media keys, tons of RGB lighting effects in the light bar, optical switches. 4000 hertz polling rate, all the USB pass-throughs, time of flight sensor. It's a very feature-rich keyboard. In terms of cons, again, not the biggest fan of the keycaps in terms of the them being prone to that gloss and stuff over time, and the font really isn't the best, and stabilizers are gonna need some work, probably on your end if you get this in. I would take time to maybe try to lube them or just do something to make them better. Now, I said when I first started this video off, this keyboard is what, $175, unless you're an EVGA Elite member, which is then just $88. That is a huge difference. And for all the features this has for just $88, that is an absolutely insane deal. So you're probably wondering, how do I become an EVGA Elite member? And I looked it up. It seems pretty, straightforward. If you've purchased one of their recent graphics cards, you register it, you can become a member, save some money. Or if you purchased multiple hardware in the last year or so, I don't remember, you can look it all up yourself, but they give you a lot of different ways to enter the membership program, and it seems like it's pretty easy and straightforward. So you could very easily, if you have other EVGA products, save a big chunk of money and get the Z20 for just 88 bucks. That's a crazy good deal. I think in the end, that would definitely make this the winner over like the K100 or the Huntsman Elite and stuff like that. Because while Razer and Corsair have been in the gaming keyboard game a lot longer, it's still just very impressive to see EVGA come out with so many different features built into a keyboard like this for $175, which isn't too bad of a price, still cheaper than Corsair and Razer, but 88 bucks, damn. For the cons I mentioned about it, that could very easily be overlooked for 88 bucks. So very, very impressed overall, the Z20. Good stuff from EVGA here. Very happy to see what they do in the future as well. Like if this is their first keyboard, where are they gonna be in 2-3 years from now? What's that next gaming keyboard gonna look like? So that'll wrap it up, guys. Hope you enjoyed my review of the EVGA Z20. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.